Hi, you must be. Yeah, perfect. We spoke on the phone earlier. Amazing, amazing. If you'd like to take a seat, I will be with you very shortly. We'll run through a few details and then we will get on with this. Yes, no time to waste, no time to waste. Amazing. Okay, so you rang me earlier and you sent me a bit of a budget and a few ideas that you wanted to run past me. Beautiful. No, there's no issues there. We have collated a little bit of a collection for you going forward, and we'll talk about each of the watches in detail. Now, yeah, any questions, just ask me. We do, yes. It's more of a bespoke service in this shop. As you can tell, we don't really have too many clientele in at the minute. We tend to do a lot of the business over the phone, and then when shopping for a watch, you want to try on what you want to try on. You want to find out what style suits you. Obviously, you want a mix of watches. You're just starting your collection now. Amazing. I think this will be a absolute perfect set to sort of give you an idea on the different styles of watches, different types of watches, and really where to go from there. Yes, I actually have them all in a box for you to look at in a few moments' time. Now, you said you wanted to try on at least one of each watch that we have to offer at the moment. So we've got, a nice sports style watch, a nice dive style watch, obviously a digital watch in here. Yeah, quartz digital watch, and then we have. Now we do have one of these smartwatches in store now. I personally not really a big fan of them. I think where this is the crossover in tech and style, it's a really good like medium. But personally, for myself, I don't tend to wear them very often. But we do have them available for the people that do like your Apple watches and your Samsung watches. We've got one here just for you. If you want to try it on, you're more than welcome to see if it's your sort of style. Unfortunately, it's sort of a fault on our part. It's not charged at the moment. We don't really have the necessary facilities to display them and charge them at the same time. So you can put them on, see if you like the style, see if you like the sizes, and sort of how it looks. But yeah. Okay, so if I show you here, we have a nice set of watches for you to have a nice look at. Now up here we have on the more expensive scale, we have both the thiese PRX. You can get that in the quartz movement. This one here specifically is the automatic movement. There's a reason I wanted to show you that, and it's fantastic. Down here we do have, if you can see that one, that is the smartwatch for you to look at. We have on the a lot cheaper end of scale of things the digital Casio watch. I know you wanted to have a look at a few Casios. You did mention them on the phone. You've seen them online. Brilliant style of watch and a staple, absolute staple in anybody's collection in my eyes. And then up here we have the Timex. So again, very similar to these in terms of style. You just standard automatic movement, but for a lot cheaper. So all dependent on what you enjoy. Then down here we do have a Breitling. And it's a very old watch. It's part of our pre-owned collection. So what I'll do is I'll get you to have a look at that. They can be quite expensive. This one, not so much. But again, it's more to suit your style. And then we will look at the newer models for you. It's just for this demonstration purposes. We grabbed one of the older ones for you just to have a quick look at. So where would you like to start? Cheaper end? Okay, perfect. So the cheapest one in here actually, and you'd be surprised at how cheap it actually is. If I lift this one up. Is the, if you can see that, just the Casio. Brilliant. Yeah, so this is a digital one. As you can see, it displays the time in hours. Rather than it being a clock face, it has the digital time on there. So at the minute it is 8 minutes to 3. It actually isn't. Yes, I've seen you've spotted it's actually 8 minutes to 4. We haven't reset this one since the clocks went forward. So you'll have to apologise for that one. But yeah, if you can see on that, not sure how well you can see it, but it does have the date. So it says Sunday, correct, it is Sunday, and it is the 16th. So that is fantastic. It is water resistant. Okay. It is water resistant, and it has the clicky buttons on the side. So it does have a light. So if you're in the dark, obviously not being an LED screen, in the dark, depending on sort of what light you're in, it can be a bit difficult to read, but no worries, the thought about that. You just click this top button over here that says light, and it lights up for you. It also has different modes, so you can have a alarm clock set for in the morning, and you do have a stopwatch, which I believe if you click that one, it will start the stopwatch, and you click it again and it turns it off, which again is fantastic if you want to time things. If that's the sort of thing you're into, a bit more of a sports watch, definitely multifunction, very much recommend myself. So you are interested in this, perfect. What I'll do is I'll get it out and I'll get you to have a bit of a try on. There we are, so if you can see it just here. Let me strap it on your wrist, sir. Beautiful, let me just come around here. Yeah, if you just pass me your arm, perfect. Beautiful, if you just attach it there, look, if you can see, you attach it to that bit, and then you just click it on, beautiful. And that looks brilliant on you, sir, if I do recommend it myself. And again, very lightweight, again, very thin, not particularly heavy. It's not got a big movement inside. Like I said, it's only quartz, so it's a battery. You just whack a battery in the back. Nice and easy, nice and cheap. Again, water resistant. You can set the modes from 12 to 24 hour. So you can have it go from 0 to 12 and then back from 0 to 12. Obviously, you yourself can tell what time of day it is. But you can have it on the 24 hours if you so prefer. I personally do prefer a 24-hour clock. But I know there's a lot of people that do prefer the 12-hour. No, yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. So it does come in this stainless steel, and it is stainless steel. You might not think it because of how thin it is, but it is stainless steel. Yep. So this one, you're going to be quite astounded right now. It's only £30. Yeah, I know, ridiculously cheap for what you actually get in the utility and the function. It is fantastic. Again, I know you said you wanted some more expensive watches, some cheaper watches to look at. We did set a bit of a budget, and I thought I've pulled probably the best 4 or 5 I can think of. But I know you don't want 4 or 5, but you know, get a smattering of watches, get a few from each price point, and see where we go from there. Cool. So what I'll do is I'll set this to the side. I'll put it back in the box, and then we'll have a think about it. Definitely want it. Okay, perfect. So what I can do then is, if I just, like I said, put it back on display, we will get you a fresh, clean one. Don't worry about that, sir. And what we'll do is I'll put this back in the display case, and we will get you a brand new one set behind the counter, ready for you when you go to the till. Amazing. So that's the Casio. Let me just pop it back in the box. Now, if we're going to carry on with that theme, we might as well take a look at the smartwatch. Again, not personally my favourite type of watches. I believe this one is the Huawei watch. Now, again, being in the UK, we still have access to Huawei devices, watches and the like, and phones that just don't come with Google. This one itself, should I say, does actually come with the Play Store on it because it was pre-ban, which is fantastic. If you can see there, I don't know how well you can see, it does actually have a tachymeter around the edge. Now, non-functioning, as it is a digital watch, so all of your things come on it anyway, and it will display anything it needs to, text messages, incoming phone calls. It does have a microphone and speakers that you can talk to it if you're on the run or you're on the go and you don't really want to, you know, be fiddling around in your pockets, you've not got your phone with you. It does have SIM as well, which is fantastic. That's just that. Like I say, it is my fault. I should apologise for that. But it has no battery, so I can't turn it on. Now, if you can see the back of it, let's just give it a bit of a clean, if I go like that. It does have all of the sensors it needs. So that one detects whether it's on your wrist, which is fantastic. But two, it also can measure your heart rate, your blood oxygen levels, which is absolutely fantastic. Made in China. It is it's an Honor device, so it's Honor. It's not Huawei. But again, every 2 buttons at the top. Now, from when I have worn one of these in the past, because, you know, working here we get to try out a lot of things. This is one of the ones I did try out. It has this red button on the top, and I say red button because it's black, with a little red line in it, and that's how you tell the two. That red button, you click it and you can access all of your menu. And all you do is you scroll down through the menu, and it comes up with your timer, your alarm clocks, text messages, gallery. You can set it up to have your different watch faces. So if you want it to look, you know, like a traditional watch, you can do, which is fantastic. It gives you that flexibility to make it look like whatever you want it to look like. which I think is a very, very good feature. I'm so glad they implemented that when they released these. You know, the last thing you want is to buy a watch like this and not have the option to make it look like a standard watch. You know, you want something that if you wanted to make it look like a smartwatch, you can make it look like a smartwatch. If you want it to look like a traditional, more, you know, Rolex Tag Heuer watch, you can do. And that is fantastic. That's one of the big selling points for me. And then the bottom, yeah, the bottom button itself, that's quite interesting because you can set that to do whatever you want. So if you find that you do something like quite often, like you find yourself back in the same things, like maybe flicking your music or your alarms, which is quite a prominent one. If you've got an alarm clock that you have set on your wrist, or there's a time of day, I don't know, you need to take your medication and your alarm starts blinking, just click that, turns the alarm off if you need it to. Or like I say, you can have it set to music. So if you know that you go on a jog every morning, all you want to do, put this on your wrist, click that button, and then your playlist will start playing, and you can have your headphones and you control it all from your watch, which again, it's a really nice feature in itself. Personally, don't tend to use it that often because I just find it's a bit more of a gimmick for me. But I know you said that you were interested in looking at one of these, having an Apple Watch, but wanted to move on to something a little bit more classy. Yeah, no worries, so I can pop that in the box for you. Yeah, no issues there. Is that something that you'll take, or are you still thinking about it? Still thinking about it, perfect. No worries, like I say, you did mention you had an Apple Watch anyway. As far as I am actually aware, you can use these on Apple devices. They are compatible. I'm not sure if there's a few extra steps you have to go through to get certain apps. I'm not entirely sure, like I say. Personally, don't use them. It'd be more of a user setup issue. If you do have any issues with it, don't hesitate to come back in store. We can help you sort it out and troubleshoot any issue you've got. Perfect. Okay, so looking at the more expensive style of things now, as you can see, this is a very old pre-owned Breitling. Here it's been absolutely battered, so we wouldn't personally sell this one to you. This is literally for these demo options. We keep it in store because we know that no one's going to buy it. There's not really much we can do with it, but we don't want to see it go to waste, so we keep it. And at the end of the day, we can help see whether people like these types of watches. Now, this specifically is a chronograph. Now, chronograph just meaning you've got multiple dials on the face. This one has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the date, the day of the week. On the left-hand side, it has the date on the right-hand side, so 1 all the way around to 31. Then it has the month on top. Now, as you can actually see, this one is broken. It doesn't actually work itself. So at the minute, it currently thinks it is Tuesday the 12th. Is that the 12th? Tuesday the 11th, sorry, of December. I don't know when that was. It will give us an indication as to when it broke. But you can see it has a nice rotating dial now. Again, I won't really get you to try this one on just because it is a bit dirty, it's a bit filthy. It's for display models only, but it's a good one to get your idea on whether you like it and you just like the style, you want to have a quick look. Yes, it's not a sapphire glass, unfortunately, this one. And it's just a standard glass front. Again, rotating thing, it's a little bit stiff and a little bit clicky for my liking, but my favourite feature is the bracelet on this. It has a very, very nice bracelet. Yep, brilliant. So what I'll do, yep, these can all be resized in store for yourself, or we can let you go away with it full size and you can do it yourself. You know, we do, yes, one of the things that we do is if we resize the watch for you, we also provide you with the extra links. You know, watches aren't always, you know, keepable. It's not always a keepsake. Some people do it as an investment. Personally, I like the watches that I like and I keep them for myself. But you do know from time to time if you do want to sell it, you don't want to, you know, tighten yourself on who you can sell that watch to. The worst thing in the world is having a watch fit your wrist and only being able to sell it to people who have the same size as your wrist or thinner because they can take more links out. You know, I have quite thin wrists, so I always make sure to keep hold of mine. Yeah. So again, it's sort of the business model that we pride ourselves on, making sure that if we do resize anything for yourself, we keep them links with you. So if you do sell it years and years in the future, or months in the future, or weeks, or even days, that you can always go, look, here's the extra links, you can put them back in yourself. Fantastic. So coming on to the last two. We'll start with this one because it's a little bit cheaper. Sorry, I forgot to mention price. So for the smartwatch, the Honor, we're looking at around £130. Again, not ridiculously expensive, but round about in that right price point for a smartwatch in this day and age. And again, the Breitling isn't for sale. We wouldn't sell that to you, but you can be looking at anywhere between 700 to 10,000, depending on the Breitling that you choose. Again, Breitling's one of them big brands that everyone looks for. So again, that's dependent on the actual watch itself. Now, this one, I need to actually adjust this because I noticed the other day it is set to the French days. So let me just quickly flick through. So we are on Sunday. There we are, Sunday the 16th. So here we go. I've opened this one up already for yourself. This one of my favourite watches, especially for the price point, and probably one of our best sellers. It's a Timex M79. So if you can see, we have the black dial on top and the blue dial underneath. Now, this actual style of watch is very prominent across many watch manufacturers, you know, Rolex, Tudor, Tag Heuer, Timex themselves, and a load of the sub-brands as well. So you see a lot of Swatch models do this. It's just one of those that Rolex really invented it, but then everyone's gone, we like it, we'll take it. So as you can see, a very, very stylish looking watch. And again, the bezel itself rotates. Now, this isn't a this is a monodirectional, which means it'll only rotate in one way. It's not a bi-directional rotating bezel, so it will only go anti-clockwise. It won't move. Like if I try to twist it clockwise, it doesn't do anything. If we twist it that way, as you can see, it does it. Now let me get this lined up. There we are. So the arrow is back facing the arrow, which is pretty cool. So these are more probably known as dive watches. You can often go diving with these. If you know there's a set time that you've got to resurface, then all you do is rotate the bezel to the time that you started, and then what you want to do is, so say you want to go, so you want to go dive for 10 minutes and come back up, all you do is set that. So you can either read it one way or the other. You can go, so 10 minutes to there, or you can go from this arrow up here where we've set it to there, and all you need to know is when to get back to the top, which is fantastic. I'm not sure if that's how divers do it, that's just my assumption. Or you set it to 10 minutes away from where the time currently is. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how it works. I don't dive, so. Again, this has a water resistance. Obviously, if it being a dive watch, you'd need to dive in it, and it has a water resistance of only 50 meters, so quite shallow for dive watches. So the higher up the price scale that you tend to go, the deeper you go, but the standard is around 100 meters ish. Some even further, some I know do 300 meters, which is fantastic. Again, in stainless steel. Now, what I'll do is I'll get you to try this one on as well, because I want you to feel the weight difference between the Casio, which was quite lightweight, to this one. And the reason for that is, there you go, yeah, you can already tell how heavy that is. Yeah, no worries. If you just rotate your wrist, I'll get it strapped up for you. And to be fair, your wrists are very similar to mine, so perfect fit. There we go. Fantastic. So yeah, as you can tell, it's a very, very weighty watch in comparison to the Casio. That is because there's an automatic movement in there. It's not just a battery that operates a specific movement. It's a whole movement in and of itself, which is fantastic. Yeah, so if you pop that back off, I'll give you a quick show. So there we go. So as you can see in the back here, there is a full automatic movement now. I've got to try and show you this without getting in the way, because it can be a little bit awkward sometimes. There we go. Can you see that? There we go. So it's stamped Timex on the back, come on. And it has this, let's see if I can do this with, it has this rotating movement in it. Now that sort of blade itself, I think it looks a bit like one of them pizza cutter blades. That blade rotates, and what it does is it charges up, and it keeps the, what do you call it, power reserve charged, so that the movement can keep moving. And the best thing about this is, so this does have hacking, I believe it's called, where, so if I was to sit here right now, this is pushed all the way in, and just do this. Can you hear it? That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do is just twist that. But the good thing about this watch specifically is it does have that blade. So this can keep charging and keep that power reserve up while you're moving. So you don't have to constantly wind it up every couple of hours. Or I think this one has a 50 or... Let me just double check that. So yes, I believe it has a 50-hour power reserve, which is fantastic. You know, you can have this on you for 2 days, 48-ish hours without even having to do anything. But it will have charged itself while you've been moving. If you're lying completely still for 48 hours, that's when it will start to die. Which hopefully you're not, you know, completely still for 48 hours. That would be a bit odd. But again, automatic movement in this, and this is fantastic because we can actually offer this to you today for £130, which for the movement that you get in, stainless steel, fantastic bezel, incredible craftsmanship, incredible dial. You know, you've got it on the blue dial. We do have a few different colorways. We do have it in a red and black. We do have it in a green and black, which is another prominent fun color. Yes, you've heard this. Yes, so this one is nicknamed, because of the black and white, it's nicknamed the Batman. A Batman bezel, things like that. The green and black is often referred to as the Hulk. You know, if it's just the solid green all the way around, that's often called the Kermit. I'm not sure if we've got one for the red and black as of yet. I'm not entirely sure on the name of that, but this one, yeah, this one nicknamed the Batman. Brilliant. So what I'll do is I'll pop it back into the thing for you. Brilliant. And then last but not least, we'll move on to the other one. Now this is my favourite. As we pop this one back into the box. This is my most recent one. I've actually got one myself. And this is the thiese PRX Powermatic 80. Now this is a little bit more expensive. Like I say, you said that you didn't want to spend anywhere near that sort of £500, £600 price mark. You want to keep it relatively cheap. But if there was one that caught your eye for around that £500 to £1,000 price mark, then you know it's definitely not a no at this point. So as I said, I've got you the smartwatch that you requested. We'll have a look at that. We've had a look at the digital watch, again very, very cheap, on the really cheap end, where you can buy 1 or 2 watches today and then still walk away with that, because you know it's an extra 15 to 20, 30, 40 pounds ish, depending on the model that you want. The Breitling was just to look at what you liked and just to offer you a different style. Again, there's plenty in the shop if you want to go and have a quick look later on. You know, we can show you anything really, but you asked for my recommendations, so I've given you my recommendations. Which brings us on to this. This one is a little bit in that higher price point, that £500 to £1,000. This one currently retails for £610. Now, the best thing about this is the fact that if you were to buy this today and try and sell this on sites such as Chrono24 and the like, or try and sell it on, you'd probably be able to sell it for what you've bought it for, which is fantastic. Now, if you'd asked me 4 to 6 months ago how much you'd be paying for this, it'd have been around £560, which I can appreciate. The value of them have gone up. Many watch collectors around the world, whether it's through social media or just private collectors, have dubbed this one probably the best value for money watch of maybe 2022, potentially 2021, because I know they were available, but you know, weren't that prominent. And that led to Tissot really marketing this quite heavily, and you know, pushing the boat out and realizing their actual true value, which has then driven the value up a little bit. You know, as the demand for them becomes higher, the price of them are going to go up. Yeah, just like anything really. So I'll show you this one now, and this is, again, for yourself. I know you want to start a watch collection. This could be your first like really good purchase. And again, it's the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. Now, the reason I've chosen this is because it also comes in a quartz version, which is about half the price. I think they're just a little over £300 at the moment. Now, these come in 4 colours. Used to be 3 until they added this colourway in. So you get it in the black, you get it in the green, and you get it in a dark blue. So imagine this, just a lot darker, very similar colour to my overcoat today. So again, if you want to just have a quick look at that, it has a very chiseled watch face, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favourite features on this watch. Specifically, Again, stainless steel. You can get them in rubber straps. You can get them in leather straps. I personally, am a big fan of stainless steel, as I've showcased to you today. And again, my favourite feature about this is the fact it does have that automatic movement in the back. Now it has thiese's very own automatic movement, and it is a fantastic movement. Again, if you spoke to anyone within the watch community, you go to any of the other watch dealers in your area, say to them, look, what do you think about the Tissot PRX? They will tell you it is a fantastic watch to get at the price point that it's set at, you know. There are some watches, not naming any names, that have a very similar movement in there, if not the same movement, and they're charging between 10 and 15,000 for it, which is when you start to pay for the name, not necessarily the model. So you can tell what quality this is. The actual build quality is fantastic. I've, again, not had too many complaints about these, if any at all, if I'm honest. Again, it comes with that crown where if you twist it, it will start to charge it. You can't quite hear it in these the way you can with them, which just goes to showcase the build quality. But again, it has the blade at the back that will move as you walk, or you, I don't know, go for a jog. You know, you're working, you're using your arms and your hands quite well. And again, this is where we really start to feel the craftsmanship, because if you just pop that on your arm, there we are. If you flip it over, I can do the clasp. Perfect. You can really feel that. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. There is so much heavier than any of the watches I've shown you today. And that just goes to show the level of quality. You know, we always like to say, look, if a watch feels relatively heavy, it's probably for a good thing. Obviously, there are fakes out there where they'll just put weights in and things like that, or put heavier materials in there to make it appear heavier and better build quality. But as far as you're aware, if you buy from a reputable store and a reputable place, and you're getting genuine watches, the heavier it tends to be better. Unless, of course, you're looking for a lightweight watch, such as the Casio, very lightweight, very easy to wear. Now, again, yes, I did say I have purchased one of these myself, and I must say I am in love with it. It's quite easily been one of my best purchases over the past 5-10 years, and I love it. Now, one of my favourite features of this, and you might have seen it while I was doing it up, is it actually has a butterfly clasp. So whilst it has this amazing link, so if I just get one of these out to show you a bit of a comparison. Let's get you this one, because you did say you liked the look of this one. I can get you to sort of compare the two. See how the links on this and this are different. This has more of a Jubilee style. You'll find that quite a lot when you come across things like Rolexes, that they call it like a Jubilee style bracelet. This one has more of just a simple generic, I wouldn't say generic, I'd say it was quite classy actually. But the way it reflects the light, like this has nice rounded sort of looks to it. The Jubilee parts itself are completely over polished to give you that contrast of colour. I mean, just look at that, it's fantastic. But when it comes to the PRX itself, each individual link gives you that complete different colour and contrast, which is fantastic, and I just love it. But like I was saying, it has this butterfly clasp. Now, if you see, let me just pop this to one side. Now, I'll explain the difference for you. Whereas this Timex has quite a simple, just fold up, click in, and then if you want to let go, you just click the two clasps in either end. If you can see them, I'm not sure if you can see them. Just the two little bumps, push that in, and then it releases. But it releases one way to extend, which is great. I mean, it's functional, it works well. The reason I like this is because you can really see, look at the movement in that, it's fantastic. So all you've got to do is clip one side and clip one side. Now, what I've found with that, upon wearing, like I say, I've got one of these and I've got one of these. Upon wearing it, if I'll just demonstrate to you now, and actually I'll start with the Timex again just to show you my thoughts on this, is when coming to wear this, let's say I have that on my wrist. Let me just move myself so I can demonstrate. I sometimes get confused about which way to push it. I sometimes go that way and it's not quite right. Sometimes while I'm doing it, it can pinch my skin if I'm trying to do it quick. If you can see my skin under here, it's getting a little bit pinched. So whilst it might be great, the comfort side of things, which is another thing that you pay for that you're not quite sure when you're buying a watch, is you pay for the comfort of the thing. When it comes to the thiese, popping it on, all you do, or is the easiest way I've found, is push this up, and you're already on your way to pushing that up. So you go like that. Let me demonstrate that for you. Push it up, click it in, pull across, click it in, no pinching of the skin. And it just looks fantastic. So, like I say, I showed you earlier, I've put it on your wrist and you were a big fan. But yeah, so let me just quickly put these back into the display cases, because again, if you were to purchase any of these watches, you'd purchase a brand fresh one. I'm not in the market of pretending that I've given you an old one, or a display one, should I say. So there we are, that's all back in the case now. So if I just show you this, these are the watches that we've offered you today, and it's been absolutely fantastic. And again, thank you for your custom, it's been very nice. I hope I've been a little bit more informative to you, and I hope to hear back in the nearby future about the types of watches you're interested in. Yeah, so are you looking to make some purchase? Again, I know we said that we'd have a look at watches and you come to see. But what I can do is I can make a note of anything you're interested in, keep it under our file, so that if you ever ring back in the future and say, "Oh, Luke, I remember coming in a while ago, there was these watches, it was amazing." I'm assuming that you found this amazing, but I hope you've enjoyed your time. But yeah, you can ring up in the future. I'll have a note on our file and say, right, you went through these. What colour was it? What type of watch was it? Was it a digital watch? Was it a standard classic sort of style watch? And then we can go from there, really. Yes, okay, so today you would like to purchase one or two. Okay, that is absolutely fantastic. Like I say, we hope you've enjoyed your time. Which ones are you interested in specifically? The Casio, yes, no, like I say, it's a staple. I think it's a staple for anyone's collection, is to have a nice, easy, genuine, simple Casio in there. And the reason I say that is because there's some days where you're going out somewhere, maybe you're working in the garden, or you're going out, or you're going around someone's house and you don't want to be like, oh, look at my watch sort of thing. You just want something nice and simple. Brilliant. That's a genuinely brilliant choice, and I'm not overstating that. It is a brilliant choice. Okay, so you're struggling between the Tissot and the Timex. I can understand that. They are very similar in many aspects, you know. They are more of the classic style watches, and one of them is a lot cheaper than the other, but again, I would highly recommend the other one. Yes, I know you came here not specifically looking for something at that price, but I was exactly the same. I was like, I don't think I'd ever spend anything like that on a watch, and then a couple of years later, look, poof, I spent that money on a watch. It's outrageous. Yep. Okay, so I can make a note of that one and keep it on your file, but the Timex is what you're interested in. Again, another exquisite choice. In terms of the, again, Breitling, anything like that, catch your eye? Was you a fan of the chronographs? Not particularly. Okay, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I can understand that. And then, last but not least, we're on to the smartwatches. Are you interested in many smartwatches? Yes, I know you have your Apple Watch already. Yeah, there's not really too much of a difference between a lot of them. Personally, they're not my cup of tea, but I can understand why people like them. Yes, so what I'll do is I'll make a note. So Casio, beautiful, and we said the Timex, so it's the M79. And what colourway would you like? Would you like the black and blue, or we have the black and green? Black and green, okay, brilliant, yep. Green's your favourite colour, amazing. I'll make a note of that. So what I'll do is I'll pop off to the back now, and then we'll finalise the purchase. Thank you ever so much. No, it's been a blast. Thank you.